Hey, how's it going? It's Ryan here from Twinbrush, here to introduce Maverick, the new OpenType SVG Color Bitmap font. This video is just going to give you a overview of the files that are included in your download, how to install those files, and more importantly, how to use them. So, without any further ado, let's get stuck in. So, the first thing you'll notice when you open up the downloads folder is a couple of other subfolders in here. One of them is the letters PSD, which I will discuss very shortly, and the other is the fonts folder. If you double click the fonts folder, you'll see there's two font files in here. We've got Maverick Color and Maverick Standard. Maverick Standard is just a normal OpenType font that'll not have the same texture and opacity and all that really nice detail that Maverick Color does. Maverick Color, therefore, is much larger in file size. It's the actual OpenType SVG color font format. A quick disclaimer, there's not a huge amount of compatibility for OpenType SVG color fonts at the minute. I've left some links in the description below. Please have a read through those if you're unsure. That'll kind of tell you everything you need to know. But don't worry too much about that if you don't have that particular version of the software, because the letters PSD file will solve that issue. You don't actually need any specific version of Photoshop in order to use the PSD file. As long as you can open PSDs, you'll be able to access all the Maverick letters in their own layer with all that texture and all the opacity there. But as I say, I'll talk about that in just a little bit. For now, all we're going to do is look at the fonts and install these. These will install the exact same as any other font you've ever installed. So for PC users, you can just select them both, right click and click install. I'm not going to because they're already installed, but that's how you go about it on Windows 10 at least. For your own operating system, it's just going to be the same as installing any font file that you ever have. So with Photoshop open, it's just the exact same as using any other font. So all you need to do is select your type tool and make sure Maverick Color or Standard, whichever one it is you want to use, is selected either in the contextual toolbar or via your character panel. I'm just going to click inside this anywhere and begin typing something. So type that out and you'll see as I move that around, there's subtle bits of opacity where the letter forms are slightly more opaque in some areas than they are in others, and you'll see some of that texture as well, and that's what gives the OpenType SVG color font so much power. I'm just going to scale this up a little, and what you'll notice is straight away the font's always black, but don't worry about that. That is just how OpenType SVG fonts, bitmap fonts that is, are created. You do get color fonts. I've created one of those. You'll see it called Locus Sans, and I'm also working on a color version of Bank, which will contain color as well, but because this is an OpenType SVG color bitmap font, to give it its full lengthy title, it really just captures opacity and texture and will appear black, but really easy to sort out. It's not like working with a normal font where you would open up the characters panel or use a contextual toolbar at the top, click the color, change that. If you do that, nothing's actually going to happen. In order to change the color of one of these fonts, you want to double click on that particular layer, open up your layer styles and select color overlay, and you can select any color you like, and you'll see that it retains this sort of semi-transparent nature to it depending on what color you pick. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a red just so you can see that, and it sort of fits a little with the image. So there you go, and as I say, it is live text, so it works the exact same as any other. You can change that to anything at all you want. Okay, so it works the exact same as any other font. What you also have as well, I'm just going to back to this one, is there's alternates that you can use, and that'll give your text a bit more of a natural flow. Okay, and in order to do that, you want to open up the glyphs panel, and that's this one over here. If you don't see that, go up to Window and down to Glyphs. Okay, make sure you've got Maverick Color or Maverick Standard selected here in the drop down. If you're using Maverick Color, you'll notice that only some of them will run in alphabetical order, and this appears to be a Photoshop glitch. When you get down to alternates, here you go. Um, they're all over the place. There's absolutely no kind of alphabetical order to them. That's just something that Photoshop are going to have to sort out at the minute as far as alternates go with color bitmap fonts. So the first set, whenever you've got entire font selected up here, are all just your standard uppercase, then your standard lowercase, then we get the alternates. Okay, so in order to get an alternate, what you do is select the letter you want to change. So I'm looking for another lowercase f, so that's this one down here. Double click and you'll see that changes. Okay, and we can do the same for the a. I'll just select that, lowercase a, and it changes. Okay, so that gives you a bit more of a dynamic, real feel to your letters. And just so you can see it, I'm going to type Maverick Standard, and that's the standard version, and you'll see that it doesn't contain any of the opacity settings, but will work just the same as any other font, just to show you that. For those of you that don't have the most up-to-date version of Photoshop and you can't actually install the OpenTypeSVG Color Bitmap font, fear not. I've included this file, which is pretty massive resolution. Each of these letters are anywhere between about 500 pixels and 750 pixels, so they're quite large. And as you'll see, they are all broken down into their own groups of uppercase, uppercase alternates, lowercase alternates, punctuations, ligatures, numerals, etc. And inside each of these folders, each letter is on its own separate layer with a transparent background. So it's quite easy to use these. Even if you can't install the font, you can still get the same look and feel by using these glyph PSD files. So I'm just going to quickly drop some in and show you how to do that. So whenever you've got your letters dragged in and dropped on top of your image, what I would suggest you do is press Ctrl or Command G to group them, and then Ctrl or Command J to duplicate that group. Hide the bottom group by clicking on the eye icon over in the layers palette, and then press Ctrl or Command E while the top group selected to flatten those. The reason why I'm doing that is now that that's flattened, that's all one layer that can be treated as one graphic, but having them in the folder below allows you to edit each letter at a time, so you've got that wee bit of kind of security that you can go back and tweak things a little more. So once you've got everything flattened, it's just the exact same as what you've done with the actual text last time. You double click on the layer to open up the layer styles and click on your color overlay. Choose whatever color you want, click OK, job done. So there you have it. That's an overview of Maverick. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please have a look through the other preview images and you'll see the power that these type of fonts have. If you do buy it or download it, I really hope you have a ton of fun using it. And as ever, just drop me a message if you have any questions. Cheers.